Baby, I only want you. It's true. And then he said, I wrote you a love song, and I tried to make it beautiful. It's a song about your sweet, sweetheart, and how nobody can steal me away. Yeah, I am yours, 'cause I want you, and I wanted you to know.
Hello friends, my name is Tammy and welcome to my home. Today I'm going to be cleaning as well as rearranging some of my fall decor so that it's a little more practical for everyday use. I started by removing my orange blanket from the bench because it was a little bit long and it made it difficult to vacuum underneath it. And I'm also taking away the pillow and blanket from the black basket because I need to use it to store my sandals. We are going to be wearing sandals for another few weeks, and that's what I was originally using the basket for. I just took the sandals out for the home tour because I didn't think they looked very pretty, and it also didn't go with my fall decor. But I want to show you guys how I actually live my life and how I try to have things simple and organized. I want my home to be functional with still keeping the warm, welcoming elements of my fall decorations.
Wind me up and watch me choke. He could build me with feathers and break me with smoke. Holds me till I can't breathe, and his eyes tell me things his mouth can't achieve. Me, I feel 1,000 different ways. Still, I'd rather act than articulate. I've got cracks on my back and my shoulder and my wing. You see, I'm an angel.
Moving on to my living room, I'm keeping the decor on this side of the room basically exactly the same. It just needs to be wiped down and vacuumed.
And when you want me, well, I'll be gone. So talk to me another time. See, I don't need your recklessness, because I got mine. Oh, won't you look for me on a different day? I wanna be the one that got away. I wanna be.
Now, the area in front of my fireplace definitely needed some readjusting because although these garlands are so pretty, they are not practical at all because my robot vacuum tries to eat the garlands all the time and it gets stuck on them. And so whenever I wanted to put my robot vacuum on, I had to move everything, and it was just such a pain in the butt to try and rearrange everything back into place every single time. So what I'm doing instead is I'm putting the garlands inside the lanterns and then just poking the roses and the leaves out a little bit, so I'm still getting the same kind of element and same kind of look, but I'm not having to worry about anything being eaten up by the vacuum. And I'm also going to take the fox out of the way because I don't want that to get wrecked, and I'm just going to stick it upstairs in my kids' playroom so that they can enjoy the fox there.
In the back of the schoolyard, where we used to play hide and seek. You smiled hello, oh my God, and there was no need to speak. Always in the dark, and you can't call us. Always with a smile.
way, if you guys haven't seen my original fall home tour yet, I'll link it up above, and in that video I show you all my decor, where I got it from, how I decorated with it, and I also end with a really cozy, relaxing home tour. Okay, so I'm gonna move on to my dining room now. I have this huge centerpiece which is gorgeous and I love it, but it is not practical for everyday use because I homeschool my kids and we also eat dinner here all the time. This table gets used for everything, and so I need it to be cleared out of the way sometimes, and this huge centerpiece is just, well, it's huge, and so it's kind of heavy and it's kind of cumbersome, and although I love it, I think that it's more for special occasions, and I'll bring it out if we're having like a special dinner or something like that, but it needs to go just for right now, and I'm just gonna add a little bit more simple decor, just a little candle, a little glass pumpkin, and that way that's really easy to move out of the way when I need to clear off the table.
It was years ago, but how can I forget? We were 16 up all night. Love and heartbreak was our life. We got drunk and smoked your dad's cigarettes. Dreamt of a life in a big town, skyscrapers and neon lights. Ooh, I still think of you.
I'm moving back into my living room because my couch is the perfect place to fold laundry, and I need to get some laundry done today as well. I have two very excited little helpers that are going to be helping me out with folding. These are my two youngest, Carly and Clara, and they wanted to be in today's video because later on we are going to be baking muffins. They are pumpkin spice muffins, and they have a little secret element that I'll be sharing with you guys that make muffins absolutely through the roof and so delicious, but you guys are gonna have to wait a little bit before we get to that. But my girls wanted to help out with laundry too because I told them the faster I can get this laundry done, the faster that we can get to baking the muffins, and also it gave us some time to just chat and spend some time together.
Thought the love wasn't for me, no. Ooh, I still think of you.
Onto my kitchen now, which is the final room that I need to clean, but the one that is always the most work. So I had a little bit of supper that needed to be put away in a container and put in the fridge. Then I'm just gonna tidy up the counters here and then spray some Dawn power wash on this pan because this has been sitting here since the night before and it had some chicken that was like burnt onto it. So this definitely needed a little bit of soaking. So while that is sitting there, I'm gonna get to putting all of the dishes away in the dishwasher.
I get so caught up in the middle, thinking of drowning in those blue eyes. I'm losing sight 'cause I am falling. I'm so deep down, and it's not a lie that I die. I can't hide what this is. Yeah, And you can tell me all of your lies. I will put out all of the fire. If it gets too dark, I'll be your light. Be your light. I'll be your light. If it gets too dark, I'll be your light. Be your light. I'll be your light. If it gets too dark, yeah, I can carry all that you've got. Two heavy hearts is not a lot. I will put out all of the fire. We stumble and fall.
There was still some larger dishes that were dirty that didn't fit into the dishwasher, so I'm gonna hand wash those. But first I need to clean this space on the counter so that I have a place to put the dishes to dry. I started cleaning off the pan that had been soaking in the power wash. It came pretty clean, but it still had a little bit of burnt on food on it, so I decided to let it soak with another layer of power wash while I got to cleaning the rest of the dishes.
If it gets too dark, I'll be your light. Be your light. I'll be your light. If it gets too dark, I'll be your light. Be your light. I'll be your light. If it gets too dark, I am running for you. I am running for you. I am running for you. If it gets too dark,
You're gone now, will you coming back? Yeah, I know that. Yeah, I know that. You're the traveling kind, it's a known fact. Yeah, I know that. Once you've seen all the things, all the places, I hope it means that you'll come home to me. Once you've traveled the world, all the spaces inside your heart, I hope I'll be your end destination. I hope I'll be your life-changing sensation. I hope I'll be something that you won't let go. I'll be your high when you fall down low. I hope I'll be your end destination.
Now I have to do a little disclaimer here, and that is if I wasn't baking muffins and wanting my kitchen to be perfectly clean, normally I would just leave the leftover dishes sitting in the sink and I would just put them in the next load because I am usually too lazy to hand wash dishes. But every single time that I do and I get the dishes all caught up with, I feel so good about it, and I feel like I should do this more often because it really does feel good to have a super clean kitchen. So anyways, that's sort of like my advice of do what I say, not necessarily what I do, just what I do on cleaning videos, but not what I do in everyday life. Anyways, it's okay to leave dishes in the sink sometimes. I mean, that is also life, but really it does feel good to get it done.
Be something that you won't let go. I'll be your high when you fall down low. I hope I'll be your end destination. You're gone now, but you're coming back. Yeah, I know that. Yeah, I know that. You're the traveling kind, it's a a known fact. Yeah, I know that. I hope I'll be your destination. I hope I'll be your life-changing sensation. I hope I'll be something that you won't let go. I'll be your high when you fall down low. I hope I'll be your destination.
So as I was finishing up the vacuuming, my son's bird Arwen decided to make her first appearance in this video, and I thought it was so cute that I decided just to leave it in because this is how everyday life is around my house. We have 2 cockatiels, one belongs to my daughter Katie and one belongs to my son Connor, and they're always flying around, especially Arwen. She really likes to show off her flying skills because she is like a little bullet, and anyways, I thought it was cute, so I left it in. Now that the kitchen is cleaned, we are getting to the pumpkin spice muffin recipe. So I'm going to leave the recipe linked for you guys down below, but I am modifying it slightly for the icing. What they wanted to do in the recipe was to make the icing and then freeze it so that you could put it inside the muffins, but I didn't have time for that, so I'm doing my own thing, and it honestly worked out just fine. So the icing consists of 4 ounces of cream cheese that is softened, as well as a half a cup of powdered sugar, and I just mixed that together in my mixer and then scraped it out into a little plastic bag. I'm going to put that in the fridge to just keep cool until the muffins are ready, and of course the spatula had to go to Claire so that she could clean it off. Carly, who is my aspiring baker, is putting all of the dry ingredients together. There's 1.5 cups of all-purpose flour, a half a teaspoon of ground cinnamon, half a teaspoon ground nutmeg, half a teaspoon ground cloves, 1.5 teaspoons of pumpkin pie spice. She started stirring everything together a little sooner than she needed to because we also needed to add a half a teaspoon baking soda and a half a teaspoon salt. So I cleaned out the mixing bowl and spatula, and now we're going to add all of the wet ingredients together. So we need 2 eggs, and Carly and Clara really wanted to crack the eggs, so what I got them to do was to crack it in a separate dish first so that I could make sure that there was no eggshells going into the muffin mix. After that, we added 2/3 of a cup of vegetable oil, 1 cup of sugar, and 1 cup of canned pumpkin.
Have me running around in a gown and a crown, barefoot. Have me running around, dressed in a gown, barefoot.
Once all of the wet ingredients were mixed together, we added in the dry ingredients, and then I put it on low speed so that it just barely combined everything, and I also used the spatula and scraped the sides so that everything was combined, and I didn't want to over mix this at all because then your muffins can be really tough and we want them to be nice and moist. Now this was the secret element that I was talking about earlier that makes the muffins amazing. It is called the Streusel Topping. So what you do is you have a cold butter and you need 2 tablespoons of that, and you just cut it up, and then you add 2 tablespoons of sugar, 2 tablespoons of light brown sugar, 2 tablespoons of all-purpose flour, and a half a teaspoon of ground cinnamon. Now you need a pastry cutter for this part, or you can use a fork if you don't have one, and you just cut it in until it becomes this amazing crumble that you sprinkle on top of the muffins, and it is so good. Now Carly said that in order for us to look like authentic bakers, we had to make sure that we had a little bit of flour on our noses, so that's what that was all about. And now Carly's putting in the muffin liners, and then I'm taking the muffin mix and dividing it evenly by 12.
Show me what it's like to be circling among the clouds, because without you by my side, I would be stuck here on the ground. You're lighting up the way, I can see the road ahead of me. I won't be stumbling in the dark. Your eyes are shining like the stars. I was down until you saved me, until you set me free.
The last thing to do before the muffins are popped into the oven is to sprinkle them with the Streusel topping. So on the recipe it says to bake at 350 degrees for 18 to 20 minutes, and I found that that was not enough. Now it could possibly be because I messed with the recipe a little bit and I'm doing the icing afterwards instead of putting the icing in the muffins, but I actually found that it took about half an hour for these to fully bake. So while the muffins were in the oven, Carly and I are going to tidy up all of the mess that we made. I had a bunch of canned pumpkin that was still left over in the can, so I'm going to put that in the fridge and then I can make another batch of muffins later on. And then we're just going to do the dishes and wipe down the counters so that we have the kitchen looking as pretty as it was before we started baking.
To think I had plenty of dreams and light in my life. Still my glass was half empty, but you came along and showed me how to love without limits, to have a good time. My glass was always half empty, but now you're in my life. We're far away from the city lights, so small under the night sky.
Once again, Arwen has decided to make an appearance in the kitchen. She just loves sitting on the top of the fridge, so we just let her sit there while we finished cleaning up the kitchen, and that's just life around here. We have a very full house, by the way. There's me and my husband. We have 4 kids aged 17, 16, 11, and 5. And then there's also 2 birds, 2 hamsters, a cat, a fish, and for half of the year, my parents also live in the apartment below us. So yeah, we have definitely a full house, and I absolutely love it.
So I don't see us stopping now. My life's an adventure, 'cause you came along and showed me how to love without limits, to have a good time. Now my life's an adventure, and you're the reason why. We're far away from the city lights, so small under the night sky. It's just us two, but I don't mind. You could never wear me out. Even after all of these years, you still look at me with the same love. It's just us two, but I don't mind. You could never wear me out. You could never wear me out.
Now it's time for us to check on the muffins. They are looking so good. So after about half an hour, I pulled them out, let them cool just a little bit, but I wanted them to still be warm before I put the icing in. So to put in the icing, I did a little crisscross on the top of each muffin, and then I took the plastic bag that I had in the fridge, cut a hole into it, and then used it kind of like a pastry bag, and I filled the muffins in by sticking it as far as I could into the muffin and then squeezing the icing out. This doesn't work as well if you let the muffins cool completely, so make sure to do that while they're still warm. And they turned out so delicious. I highly recommend these muffins. Alright, so I'm just gonna end off by showing you guys a realistic tour of how my house looks with the fall decor in a more practical way. I hope that you guys really enjoyed today's video, and I'll see you in my next one. Take care, and I hope that you're all having a wonderful fall season.
I'm moving closer to you now. I can't get close enough somehow. And I was down until you saved me, until you set me free. My eyes were closed, now I see clear as day. And I just wanted to say that you can take me high.